Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. Many of our people live under the illusion that we are a post-racial society. They see that we have a black president, they see black members of Congress, they see black mayors and governors, they see wealthy black people, and they assume that racism is a thing of the past. Many of our people are in a deep slumber. They are sleeping. They have no clue. They don't know what's going on. Well, we have a wake up call today. Three white supremacists in Virginia were arrested for plotting to carry out a race war. Those criminals planned it on committing a robbery and using those resources to buy land and to stockpile weapons. They planned on bombing and shooting up black churches and Jewish synagogues. And fortunately, they were apprehended, arrested by the FBI before they could carry out their murderous plot. And I just wonder if this is a sign, if this is a sign of a race war being on the horizon. We saw what happened in Charleston, South Carolina, where Dylan Roof killed 9 people at a church. It's time for us to wake up. Here we are celebrating Veterans Day, honoring veterans, saluting soldiers who have fought in America's wars. Many of us have fought for America. African Americans have fought in every single major war of this country, beginning with the Revolutionary War and continuing with the wars of today. But while we fight abroad for democracy in foreign lands, we're deprived of democracy right here. We're deprived of it. While we fight for democracy, racists take away our voting rights. While we fight for democracy, police kill our youth. While we fight for democracy abroad, our students are threatened and called the N-word. While we fight for democracy, terrorist groups like these white supremacists plot our destruction. And we got to understand that these terrorists, these white supremacists, they're not acting in isolation. They're part of American tradition. They are a part of the fabric of this country. We have to understand that this country was founded on racism. It was founded on genocide against the native people. It was founded on the enslavement of black people. And for decades, even after slavery, black people were terrorized by groups like the KKK. Often we hear about Middle Eastern terrorists. We're taught about ISIS and Al Qaeda and all these other terrorist groups from abroad. We're taught to fear those groups, and rightly so. But the greater fear that we have, the biggest threat to black people, is the threat from people like these three white supremacists. Our biggest threat is from the police who harass us, brutalize us, and kill us. The white supremacists and these police, they're the ones who terrorize us. It was domestic terrorists like the KKK who beat black people, who shot black people, and who lynched black people. It was terrorists like the KKK who bombed our churches. just as these terrorists, these three white supremacists, plotted to bomb black churches. So we just have to be vigilant as a people. We have to stay on our post and stay on point. Every single church, every black church, every black mosque needs to have some kind of armed security. We can no longer afford to embrace and accept everyone into our midst without monitoring them, without searching them. Because when you don't search and when you don't monitor, you have situations like what happened in Charleston. See, we are intoxicated with a false sense of what it means to be righteous. We think that it means to accept and embrace everyone. We think that it means to forgive everyone, to turn the other cheek and all that other nonsense. That type of mentality leads to our destruction as a people. That type of mentality makes us victims. It makes it possible for people to do what Dylan Roof did. We can't afford that kind of mentality. We have to have an eye for an eye type of mentality, a life for a life mentality. And because we don't have such a mentality, I'm afraid that if there is a race war, we're not prepared. We're not prepared mentally and we're not prepared physically. Where is our army? Where are our soldiers? Who is prepared to fight these races? Many of us aren't trained to use weapons. Many of us aren't trained to survive on the land or in a forest. If there is a race war, I'm afraid that we're not prepared. And I really hope that, this is just talk, that it's just speculation. But when I see things like this, when I see these terrorists, these white terrorists plotting the destruction of our people, I can't help but think about the possibility that a race war is on the horizon. When I see what's happening at Mizzou, University of Missouri, and other places where black students are being threatened, it really makes me concerned. We are not a post-racial society. President Obama came into office, and before he even got elected, before he even ran for office, he was known for his slogan about how he said that there's no black America or white America, there's only the United States of America. There was talk of racial understanding and all this stuff. But it seems like the racial polarization has become more heightened or magnified right now. And I don't blame the president, but that's the environment that we have right now. So I just want to say that we really need to be on point. We need to stop focusing on irrelevant things and we need to focus on our real enemy. Peace.